Hi, everyone. I'm Chris, part of the Go Internet team at Habanero. As you may have heard, it's time to say goodbye to Viva Connections and hello to the new SharePoint app for Teams. We love to keep on top of what's changing in the world of SharePoint intranets and thought this would be a good topic to talk about. But before we dive in, I'll start with a quick plug about our Go Intranet product. Go is a pretty special intranet solution that makes people say, wait, is that SharePoint? We've been building intranets for 25 years and created Go to be the most SharePoint native employee loved intranet experience possible for Microsoft 365 so that you can have beautiful, trustworthy experiences without ever leaving the platform that your IT team already trusts. And in today's AI focused world, we think it's more important than ever because SharePoint doesn't just deliver the news, it has also become the number one grounding source for Copilot. So think of Go as a proven system that brings SharePoint to life for your internal communications. And at the same time, under the hood, it sets up a backbone of enterprise content hygiene, governance, and content authoring processes to help fuel accurate Copilot answers. In the next 10 minutes, I'll share a quick recap about Connections, where it came from, and how it fits into the intranet picture. And I'll also show you how it's changing with the new SharePoint app for Teams, sharing a comparison look at the old versus new experience. And before we wrap, I'll give you a sneak peek of the backend configuration experience. So, what is Viva Connections? Well, Connections was announced in 2021 as one of the four original pillars of the Viva Employee Experience platform. It was meant to be a simple intranet experience that brought a dashboard of tools, company news, and resources together, and all through Microsoft Teams. It created a bridge between SharePoint and Teams that hadn't existed in the past. And while it showed some promise, Viva Connections didn't fully deliver on what many enterprise intranets needed. It was just too simple. But it did show potential for its use in mobile scenarios. Let me explain. Mobile has always been an important part of a successful intranet, and there are two primary options with SharePoint for surfacing the intranet through a mobile browser or through an app like a custom mobile app or a Teams app like Viva Connections. Both options come with some challenges. On the one hand, the mobile browser approach is challenging as you might have to authenticate each time, which creates friction. And intranet apps are great, but getting your employees to actually download and install them tends to be a barrier as well. That's why we were pretty excited about Viva Connections and the fact that it could surface into Microsoft Teams. Like most companies, chances are your employees already have Teams installed on their phones to message their colleagues on the go. Within Teams, Viva Connections can be added as a Teams app, which makes your intranet always one click away in the Teams navigation bar. Now let's take a look at my iPhone and open up Microsoft Teams to compare the old versus new experiences. Because I use Teams all the time, you'll notice I don't have to sign in when I open up the app. I've got everything I need: the activity, stream, chat, calendar, calls, and more. I also have the intranet icon on the very bottom, which is the old Viva Connections app. When I click on the intranet, I get the Viva Connections dashboard. The dashboard is a streamlined interface that's made up of adaptive cards, also known as ACE cards. Microsoft provides a variety of ACE cards out of the box. There are third-party cards you can leverage, and you can also custom develop your own. In the top navigation, you'll see that I'm on the dashboard, but I also have news and resources. If I go into the news, I can see an algorithmic feed of news pages that have been created and roll up into one common place. If I go to resources, I can see a list of all different kinds of links that would take me deeper into the intranet. And although it's a pretty interesting concept, we found that communicators struggled with this experience for two reasons. Many of them didn't quite want to start on the dashboard, and they instead wanted to start on a responsive view of their intranet. Organizations put a lot of time and effort into designing their homepage experience and curating all the content. And for many of those organizations, the dashboard experience was a middleman that communicators didn't really appreciate or feel like they needed. And from a news perspective, many communicators want to curate organizational news and not have a feed that's automatically rolling up news from all kinds of SharePoint sites. It presents a lot more noise and a lack of control. So although Viva Connections showed quite a lot of promise, it didn't quite deliver on what most communicators wanted to see. Now let's take a look at the new SharePoint app for Teams. Earlier this year, Microsoft celebrated SharePoint's 25th birthday, and with that came some big announcements. One of the big changes was the fact that Viva Connections was getting an overhaul and is now renamed the SharePoint app for Teams. This wasn't just a rebranded version of Connections or a relaunch of the existing SharePoint app, but instead the new app provides some really welcome improvements, which we're pretty excited about. Let's take a peek. When you open the app, instead of defaulting to the dashboard, we can now choose to default to the responsive view of the intranet instead. This can be any SharePoint home site, which means that intranets built using SharePoint out of the box or using an intranet product like Go can be the default experience. You'll see at the very top, we have the app navigation, including the home pill, the dashboard, and news. We can also access the full intranet navigation from the hamburger menu and access any page we want. We like being able to use the dashboard for unique purposes, like surfacing tasks or showcasing specific features for individual audience groups, like frontline workers. The News tab is also available, but you can hide the News tab if you'd prefer to streamline the experience for your users. Let's go back and take a peek at the homepage. In this scenario, we're using the Go intranet, so you can see all the different elements, including featured news, what's happening roll-up of news and conversations from Viva Engage. We have recognition, polls, and a whole lot more. In addition, the springboard is at the bottom, where you can access important tools like your People Finder, personalized bookmarks, integration with other apps like ServiceNow, or important notifications and reminders. So that's a quick preview of the SharePoint app for Teams experience rolling out now to tenants worldwide as part of its general availability. Before we close, let's take a quick peek behind the scenes at the configuration experience. If you wanted to set up your intranet in Teams, all you have to do now is configure the SharePoint home site and set up the SharePoint app for Teams experience. And you can do that through the UI if you go click on Settings and then Manage Home Site. There you'll see the SharePoint app for Teams setup button. And clicking that will take you into the new SharePoint app for Teams configuration area, where you can select your preferred experience for both the mobile and Teams desktop. As you can see, I'm editing the mobile experience right here and selecting the custom layout, which is the same responsive homepage experience we showed you today. And that would be the default. You can also instead choose the fixed layout, which starts with the dashboard instead of the responsive homepage. That's basically the old Viva Connections simple homepage experience. You can also change the order of the tabs below, and you can choose to select the News tab and hide it if you wish. We're excited to see companies craft new mobile experiences with the SharePoint app for Teams. If you'd like help testing it out or you want to learn a little bit more about Go, feel free to connect. You can also visit our Go website at connectwithgo.com to explore our latest thinking, read our intranet blog, or request a demo for your intranet team. Thanks a lot for listening and have a great day.